Hola, bienvenidos a Amores, Patos, Face the Disney Afternoon.
I'm your host, Anna.
And I'm your host, Faby.
This is a podcast where we review the premiere of every show in the Disney afternoon. Today we will be reviewing Don't Give Up the Ship, Episode 1 of Season 1 of DuckTales 1987. Specifically, Part 1 of the DuckTales movie, Treasure of the Golden Suns. We're back talking about DuckTales!
Yeah, it's been not that long ago, but also kind of long ago.
I mean, we just did our DuckTales retrospective. DuckTales 2017 retrospective. Our Gummy Bears recap, if you didn't know, is something we actually recorded almost a year ago.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, what do you mean it's been almost a year?
Yeah, almost a year ago. Because for whatever reason, we think DuckTales is on a hiatus, and so we
for some reason never learned the lesson that as soon as we got caught up or started something else, DuckTales 2017 would immediately pick back up
with fervor and release
yes
too many episodes.
Yeah.
Again.
So the plan was to use the hiatus to record some of these episodes, but as soon as we got one episode out, DuckTales was we're gonna finish the rest of the episodes. Yes. And we're like, oh,
okay, we just wasted our time.
Yeah.
Though luckily, I mean, I guess it is good that we had that already locked and loaded. Yeah. Because I moved and I started my second year of grad school, so in order to try to release episodes more consistently, I had that one ready to re-release.
Yeah.
If you hadn't heard it before, you got to listen to it. And if you had heard it before, you got to listen to it again, newly edited, and definitely sounding better.
Yeah. Damn. No, I was just literally thinking how we started this podcast our third year of college, and now you're your second year of grad, and we're starting kind of again.
Yeah, we're starting
wild.
Yeah. We're assuming you've been listening to us, or if you're new to this podcast, because maybe you didn't care about DuckTales 2017, and you just care about the old show. Mm-hmm. Welcome either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not even long time between drinks. We're just right back into DuckTales, and we will be back in DuckTales for the next, including this, 5 episodes. Mm-hmm. Because I think, as we said, the way this show goes, we're going to be reviewing the premiere of every show in the Disney afternoon. So whether that's a 1-episode premiere like Gummy Bears, or a 5-part premiere like DuckTales, we'll be going through it through all of the shows to get kind of an even spread, even representation of all of these shows, even ones we don't particularly enjoy.
Yeah.
I know we weren't big fans of at least the first Gummy Bears episode.
Yeah. I don't remember what I said, because again, it's been almost a year.
It's been almost exactly a year.
Yeah. Wild again. But yeah, I mean, the fact that I haven't gone to watch any more Gummy Bears.
I have not watched any more Gummy Bears. I know we did get a suggestion. We got a suggestion from Paul Siebert to check out the episode "My Gummy Lies Over the Ocean."
Ooh.
Because maybe Gummy Bears gets better as it goes along, which is fair. We didn't watch any more, so we have no idea.
No.
I know Rob Paulsen comes in eventually to voice a character. This is 85, 86, though. This is at the very start of his really, voice acting. Because I know he did around the same time he was starting to do, he was Raphael the Ninja Turtle. Around the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
And now, obviously, Rob Paulsen's a voice actor legend and a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah.
So, bonus.
Yeah. Damn, yeah. I was thinking of the other day I saw Gummy Bears Funko Pops at the store, and I was like, and then I just walked away.
I own, one single piece of Gummy Bears merchandise, and it is a pin. Because I've kind of made it my goal to have a piece of merchandise from every show in the Disney afternoon. Mm-hmm. I think I'm still missing Bonkers. I don't think wait, no, that's a lie. I have a little Bonkers McDonald's toy. He's in a box somewhere, but I do have him.
Yeah.
I think I have one of everything. Some more than others.
Damn.
Obviously, DuckTales have a lot of merchandise. Darkwing. I have a couple Goof Troop, Goofy movie things.
Yeah.
I have a Wuzzles pin, but I don't know if it's official or not. I don't think it's official.
Probably
The
not.
13-episode flop. The Wuzzles. Oh god, I keep getting the Wuzzles theme song stuck in my head. It's not good.
I don't even remember
You're in the land of Wuz. I just have the intro. Like, it's like the very first line. The 3 words.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
DuckTales theme song.
On the other hand, yes, thank you for
masterpiece.
circling us back to DuckTales. Yeah, I mean, so what's your history with DuckTales, Faby?
I mean, it's kind of the history of our friendship, honestly. Like, Anna is, I mean, I'm assuming y'all don't know. Like, Anna and I met first year of college. By the second year of college, we would ride the bus together.
We lived 30 seconds apart.
Yeah.
Literally. I'm not exaggerating. You live down the street from me.
Yeah. I remember you told me, like, oh, I'm going to live here. And I, like, kind of just Googled it to be like, oh, you know, where in town is it? And I was like, oh, that's, like, literally 30 seconds away from me.
The apartment complex next to yours.
Yeah. And so we would just kind of, like, talk on the bus. And I think at one point you were like, oh, like, there's a new DuckTales show that's going to premiere. And I was like, I never watched the original DuckTales. And we just, like, you would literally talk me through episodes.
Yep.
Yeah. And then eventually I went into your house to watch them.
I made you, we watched a couple episodes together. We watched the Fenton episodes together. So that's Liquid Assets, Frozen Assets, Full Metal Duck, Billionaire Beagle Boys Club, and Money to Burn. I did it. I remembered them all. Applause. Thank you. I know we watched those together. But I think for the rest, I made a cheat sheet. Like, these are the worthwhile episodes.
Yeah, and I, like, just went through it, and I, like, watched most of them. There's still, I think, to this day, a couple of episodes that I
mean,
never
there's 100 episodes total, so...
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, we did this, and then new DuckTales came out. We decided, hey, we like to talk about this. We should do... Well, you said first, like, I want to do a podcast.
And then a day later, I was like, do you want to do a podcast with me?
And I was like, okay, yeah. And then, yeah, like, that just kind of... Now I have a whole shelf full of little DuckTales figurines.
I have a merch store.
It's been great. Yes. And it's been so fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, what's your history?
Well, yeah, I mean...
You're our expert here.
I am our expert here. Thank you. The self-declared expert. I mean, I learned about DuckTales. Obviously, I was not alive in 1987, but I found out about DuckTales and watched it on YouTube before YouTube copyright was a thing, when there would just be full episodes and movies on YouTube.
Yeah, you could watch a lot of anime that way. That's what I did.
So this would have been 2009 or 10, whenever I was in middle school. And I watched DuckTales on there. And that was... Like, I've always really liked Donald Duck. And just, like... I'm like, yeah, Mickey's okay, but Donald Duck, though. This one, on the other hand...
That was me with Goofy since I was a baby.
I don't know what. The character is always more interesting to me. And I found out about DuckTales, and I'm like, oh my god, there's more of them. There's more Disney Ducks. And from DuckTales, I watched Darkwing. From Darkwing, I watched Gargoyles, and so on. And I became obsessed with Disney Afternoon. So yeah, I mean, I just have a lot of admiration and a lot of fondness, definitely, for the show. Yeah. Obviously, like, we watched and recapped and reviewed every episode of DuckTales 2017, which is so much fun. And so, I mean, just rewatching this first episode, it made me already miss DuckTales 2017.
Same.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like, I always feel like end of summer is mixed with me with, like, DuckTales, because that's when DuckTales 2017 aired, and, like, when I was watching, like, this DuckTales, like, again, like, at the most, you know, I don't know, it's just, It's been a nostalgic
Yeah, I mean, both DuckTales 2017 and the original DuckTales both aired in September.
Yeah. Wow.
So, it's just, September is the DuckTales month.
Yeah.
This is like vaguely related, but I used to work in a preschool pre-pandemic, and I was like the new teacher, and to get like the parents to like me, because the parents were all like in their 30s, early 40s, I would wear, because I have a lot of Disney Afternoon merch, I would wear like gargoyle shirts, and on one time a DuckTales sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And I had someone compliment me on it. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's the new show that's also airing, and they're like, nah, I don't care about that new shit. The old show, that's the best. And I'm like, oh, okay. Don't know when you last watched it. There is some racist stuff in there, but okay.
Yeah.
I'll just never forget the parent being like, nah.
No.
The old one is the best. I'm like, sure.
No, that's so funny. Like, for me, like, watching DuckTales 2017, like, my younger cousins were also watching it. So they're always like, oh, are you still, like, watching that? I'm like, yeah, my life is pretty dedicated to DuckTales 2017.
Pretty intrinsically linked now.
Yeah, I'm like, still have the podcast. Yep. But yeah, this... I think my parents watched this show, like, growing up in Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could have.
Yeah, it's wild. Also, their names in Spanish are so
yes. I know we've complained about Dewey's name, right? Because, so, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are Hugo, Paco, y Luis. And Dewey's is the only one that doesn't stick with the letter.
Yeah.
Would it be that hard? What did we say they could have named him?
We just said that he could have been Diego.
Yes.
Yeah. But whatever.
Scrooge is what? Rico McPato?
Yeah. El Tío Rico is how I remember him.
Webby's not here yet,
DuckTales
but
is just,
Webby's Rosita.
Yeah. And then, what was Launchpad?
Oh.
Like, Joe?
Yes, Joe McQuack.
Yeah.
They didn't even try. The person translating... No. Like, just gave up.
Just Joe.
Joe.
There you go.
Nothing clever. Nothing Joe.
Just Joe.
Terrible. Gyro has the most fun name.
What is it again?
Ciro Piraloca.
Oh, yeah.
That's so fun. Funny. Damn, Gyro. Whatever.
Damn. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the show is Pato Aventuras. Yes. It's really, really cute.
I mean, with that, should we get into it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, from the start, I think like cartoons did back in the day, we get the theme song right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I don't know, would you say DuckTales has, I mean, one of, or if not the most iconic theme song?
I think
Are we
so,
biased?
Yeah, like...
Maybe. But...
Maybe. But like, just like that little beginning, that like those beats.
Yeah.
I can recognize them anywhere.
I would wake up from a coma and remember the music.
It's fun. It's so cute.
Yeah, I think even like with all the Disney Afternoon, I still think DuckTales theme song is still my favorite. I think Tailspins is right there, and then Chippendales is unfairly good considering how little affection or enjoyment I get from the actual show. The theme song is unfairly good.
I think then, like, Darkwing is just, it's very 90s to me. It's so 90s.
It's not bad, but it does feel, I think, more dated than, like, the DuckTales theme song does.
Yeah. It feels, like, it's very fun to, like, scream sing in a car, which we have done. But, yeah, I think, like, for me, Tailspin and DuckTales are, like, just, I would just listen to them. To listen to them.
Yeah, oh my god. So the DuckTales theme song was written by Mark Mueller, a genius. The song took him 45 minutes to write.
Oh wow, amazing.
Yeah, prior to DuckTales, he worked with Captain and Tennille, the Pointer Sisters, Lou Rawls, among others. I think he also wrote the Chippendales theme song.
Oh.
It has a similar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, the DuckTales theme song has a million different covers on
Yeah.
on YouTube that you can listen to, and they're basically all fantastic. And also with the theme song, there's a lot of bits that are from future episodes, and a lot of other animated bits that are just inserts just for the theme song itself that never show up.
Yeah.
Like the kids being chased by the mummy, the kids being hugged by the tiger, the alien with them all in space.
Yeah, that's disappointingly not an
I know,
episode.
and it looks really interesting, but no. They do go to space multiple times,
Yeah,
but
that never
that
happens.
specific scene does not exist.
Yeah.
Also the pies.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure what part of the theme song, but there's a bit where they're somewhere throwing pies at the Beagle Boys, and
yes,
that never.
okay.
Yeah.
I remember they hit the beat.
Yes, and that never happens.
Yeah.
It fit the beat.
Yeah. It's so cute.
And we're also introduced to a lot of characters in the theme song that don't show up this episode, so we will cease to mention them until they do show up.
Mm-hmm. Only a couple of people exist in this universe at the moment.
Yes. For me, DuckTales is really interesting in terms of, I think just in the grand scope of not just television animation, but kind of for the Disney Corporation as a whole. So this show came out in 1987. So this was before Disney had its renaissance. At this point, Disney was kind of still flagging, I think financially, critically, I think. Because it was at a point where I know the parks weren't as popular, the movies weren't doing well. I think prior to 1987, we had, I think The Black Cauldron came out.
Oh.
Fox and the Hound. Little Mermaid, which started the Disney Renaissance, didn't come out until 1989. And that was the jumping point. That's where they just went up and didn't stop. Was the start of the Disney Renaissance and the kind of the new Disney that we know now that is massively wealthy and massively powerful and is nothing like the kind of uncertain business that it was in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So DuckTales is interesting because obviously prior to DuckTales, the show that came out previously was the Gummy Bears, Disney's first genuine kind of foray into television animation, like consistent television animation, to the point of syndication. While Gummy Bears was popular, it didn't have the same effect as DuckTales. DuckTales was the birth. I think I definitely consider it the birth of the Disney afternoon. The Disney afternoon would not exist if DuckTales had not been successful. Mm-hmm. And obviously from the success of DuckTales, we got Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, Chip and Dale, Gargoyles, like these powerhouse shows, really.
Yeah.
And it was bringing Disney animation to the small screen, which hadn't been done because I think prior to, again, Gummy Bears, television animation was seen as kind of cheapening Disney's image. Mm-hmm. But obviously DuckTales itself and all the Disney Afternoon changed that. And so Disney television animation became a staple, obviously. And DuckTales became their first syndication pillar in that sense. But of course, we can only give Disney so much credit because the show, DuckTales itself owes its very existence, without exaggeration, to Carl Barks.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we've talked about Carl Barks before. I don't know how much we talked about who he actually was.
Probably not. I don't think so, to be honest.
So Carl Barks, he worked at Disney in 1935 as an in-betweener, which was an animator responsible for the intermediate frames between two images, which creates the illusion of movement. Because obviously, up until very recently, animation was all hand-drawn. So they had to draw every single movement. And as the popularity grew around the character of Donald Duck, Barks joined a team of creators responsible for developing Donald Duck shorts. Though later, around World War II, a lot of Disney's employees, a lot of Disney's animators, famously went on strike because of unfair working conditions and Disney maybe not being such a great boss. And obviously, I think they wanted to unionize, and Disney was not about that. And so Carl Barks actually quit before Disney responded to the strikers by firing them.
Yeah.
And Carl Barks missed being fired by quitting. While Carl Barks was still at Disney, he anonymously illustrated several comic books based on the characters like Donald Duck.
Mm-hmm.
And once he quit, he tried doing some other stuff. Look, from what I found, he tried to open a chicken farm. Because that's what people did in 1940 something, I guess.
Yeah.
That didn't pan out. So he sought out the Disney partner Western Publishing, hoping they could give him a few gigs. And he impressed them so much that he was essentially given creative autonomy for what would become a multi-decade run of adventure stories.
Wow.
In the pages of Walt Disney's Comics and Stories, Donald Duck, and eventually the Uncle Scrooge comics. So Carl Barks did actually work anonymously until later in his career, and up until he became more of a common name among fans, he was known as the Duck Man and the Good Duck Artist. Because people would read his comics and they would see that the art was significantly better than most. Because of the attention to detail in his comics was so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where in 1987, Barks was one of 3 inaugural inductees of the Will Eisner Comic Book Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
So Barks wasn't the first person to bring Disney ducks to comics. That would be Al Taliaferro, who, with writers Bob Karp and Ted Osborne, brought Donald Duck to newspapers in the daily Silly Symphonies newspaper strip, as well as eventually the solo Donald strip. But Barks was the person to draw the first American Donald Duck comic book. That was the 1942 Donald Duck Finds Pirate Gold. And obviously for a significant period of time he wrote Donald Duck comics until the 1947 comic book Christmas on Bear Mountain, where Scrooge McDuck made his first appearance ever in Carl Barks' stories. So in terms of DuckTales, Carl Barks is especially significant because he created all of the characters that are in the show except for Donald Duck and the nephews. He created Scrooge McDuck in 1947, Duckburg itself, and its inhabitants. So after Scrooge, he created Gladstone Gander in 1948, the Beagle Boys in 1951, the Junior Woodchucks in 1951, Gyro Gearloose in 1952, Cornelius Coote in 1952, as well as Goldie O'Gilt. Little Helper was created in 1956, Flintheart Glomgold in the same year. John D. Rockerduck was created in 1961, as well as Miss Quackfaster and Magica to Spell.
Wow.
Yeah, the cartoonist Will Eisner, who was credited as the first American cartoonist and comic book writer, called Carl Barks the Hans Christian Andersen of comic books.
Oh, wow.
So, I think
big deal.
Yes, I mean, I can't speak, obviously, to Carl Barks as a person, but just the art and media that he literally created, the fact that he created these household characters, and he created all of them.
Yeah.
Like, we started off with Donald Duck and Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Those existed prior to him, prior to his involvement in the Disney Ducks universe. And he would go on to create the Disney Ducks universe.
yeah, like Scrooge McDuck, just incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even the kind of spirit of DuckTales itself pulls from what the Donald Duck and Scrooge McDuck comics became, because all of the stories were these grand adventures where Scrooge and the nephews would travel to the Klondike. They would be hiking in South America. They would be in the woods. I don't know. I think it's really interesting, the fact that he not only created these characters, but these, like, the world that they're specifically in, this specifically adventure setting that's inspired by, like, Buster Keaton and the Prince Valiant comics. If you look at the Prince Valiant comics, they were a comic series in 1930s and 40s, and you can clearly see, like, where Carl Barks takes his, like, kind of adventure influence, because a lot of the adventures they explore are adventures on ancient history. They're exploring ruins in Greece and in Egypt and Europe, and the Prince Valiant comics definitely have that vibe, and I'm like, oh wow, so that was fun to see. Yeah, so I mean, Carl Barks worked on the Duck comics for really just not much over a decade. Between the late 40s and late 50s, he worked on these comics, really, a bit into the early 60s. But obviously, the stories progressed far beyond him. In terms of DuckTales, they're not technically relevant, because this is Don Rosa's work, and then all of the Italian Donald Duck artists, where Donald Duck and Scrooge became overwhelmingly popular.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, so Carl Barks was the originator of all of this, and so DuckTales would not exist without him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just find so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this show has so much history, and then it would go on to produce even more history for future shows, and it's wild. Yeah.
And so all of that research was through the Film School Rejects website. I wanted to credit them because I did not know all of that. I have a list of the DuckTales episodes that are directly based on his works. 10 episodes specifically credit him as the original story writer, i.e. that he wrote the comic book story, which was adapted into a teleplay by the show's writers. Though, other than sitting down with the series key layout artist, Michael Peraza, who might sound familiar because he's a very prominent Disney Ducks artist, he did the art specifically in the DuckTales 2017 Christmas episode Last Christmas. He did the end credit. He has the very specific, very recognizable art that the Duck Knight Returns comic book flashback scenes for Darkwing.
I was like, that's where it's familiar. Yes.
And I think he also was he did the art for Mickey's Christmas Carol. That's because that's what it's based on. So very big artist, but also specifically recognizable as a Disney Duck artist. So other than sitting down with him to share the concept art, Barks himself was never personally involved with the show. So some of the episodes that were based directly on his stories are Robot Robbers, The Lost Crown of Genghis Khan, Earthquack, Micro Ducks from Outer Space, Back to the Klondike, Scrooge's Pet, The Golden Fleecing, The Status Seekers, The Land of Tra-La-La, and The Unbreakable Bin. As well as Down and Out in Duckburg and The Curse of Castle McDuck, though those last two he remains uncredited for them.
Oh, okay. That's weird. But
it's weird, yeah. I know Carl Barks didn't receive much credit from the Disney Corporation for his contributions to this world, to these characters, that he created these characters.
Yeah.
I don't think he received much money from it. It's more
Probably
fan
not.
acknowledgement that the fans knew who he was and they went out of their way to buy his comics and support, obviously, his works. But
him specifically.
Yeah. But as far as I know, the Disney Corporation did not credit him.
Yes.
Which sucks tremendously. Yes. All right. So the actual episode, DuckTales. How do we start?
We start with just a beautiful, like, overshot of Duckburg itself. Like, as soon as I saw this opening shot, I was just like, yeah, like, I miss this show, and I love this show a lot. It's just very, like, I really like the animation. It's not, like, the best.
No, I mean, for 1987
very, very
on television, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And, like, we immediately get, like, shots of Scrooge in his money bin, doing what I guess Scrooge is known best for doing, which is swimming in his money.
Yes. This is like the most iconic, I think, Scrooge scene in general.
Yeah.
He's in his striped, old-timey bathing suit.
Mm-hmm.
I have a shirt with him wearing this outfit.
I have, like, the little tiny, like,
You
Funko
do!
vinyl.
Ugh.
Okay, if any old listeners remember that my cousin was supposed to get me, like, the big one, it never got to me. So either she never sent it, or, you know, it got lost in the mail. But I never got the big one.
You still have the small one.
Yeah.
I don't have.
I got lucky, but yeah. It's very cute.
But yes, so you see swimming in the money.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes like a splash noise when he jumps in, and I'm like, no. It's just piles of coins.
Yeah, it's just straight. He has like a little pile of cash.
Yeah,
I think,
in the corner
of the bin. But yeah, everything else is just like gold.
I know, and it's all gold, which I mean, I guess it's meant to be nickels and dimes and stuff, but for the aesthetic, it's all gold.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck, he had a vault, E-I-E-I-O, and in this vault he had some dough, E-I-E-I-O. Ach, there's only one thing better than owning a vault full of cold, hard cash, and that's swimming in it. I love to dive around in it like a porpoise, and burrow through it like a gopher, and toss it up and let it hit me on the head.
And the line that he quotes, that he likes swimming in it like a porpoise and burrowing in it like a gopher, is a direct quote from Karl Barks' 1948 The Old Castle Secret, which is considered one of Karl Barks' best works. It's a very good comic, and it introduces Scrooge McDuck fully as a character, because obviously he was created and first introduced in Christmas on Bear Mountain. Though The Old Castle Secret introduces Scrooge McDuck as a character, we learn that he's from Scotland, we learn that he's from Dismal Downs. The comic was so popular that Scrooge became the main focus of Karl Barks' stories over Donald Duck.
Wow.
Yeah. So that comic came out in 1948, and so by 1952, the Uncle Scrooge comic book series was launched. Yeah, and so obviously Scrooge McDuck is what Karl Barks is most well known for now.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like,
yeah.
he literally needed a Scrooge-like character to be a foil to Donald, and so he created Scrooge McDuck, and is now known, quite literally the world over, which is fantastic.
And Scrooge McDuck is just, like, I think of all the characters in media that are compared to Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where would we be without this little duck?
Yes, this weird rich duck who swims in money. Like, just the swimming in money is so iconic.
Like, yeah, even now, my brother and I have been binge watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They mention exactly that. Yeah. Like, I want to swim in coins like Scrooge McDuck.
Yes. It's not physically possible, but he can do it.
No, but yes.
Oh, look, he swims in it. So he swims in it, and he tosses it up in the air and lets it hit him on the head. And I'm like, that would fucking hurt, dude. Like, throw a handful of coins straight up.
Like, have you ever been, like, at a baptism where they throw coins?
I haven't.
That's part of el bolo. Oh, that's, like, tradition in, like, Catholic, I guess Mexican Catholic things. Like, the padrinos, the godparents, will throw money at one point. Just, I don't know why. It's just a thing. And it fucking hurts to get pelted with quarters.
I have not been to a baptism since my own. So, that's my excuse.
Yeah. But it fucking hurts so bad. So it's so cartoony and it's so.
And that's like the first shot we get of Scrooge, which is fantastic. I don't know that he swims in the money too often in the actual show, but I don't think so. But it's in the opening, and it's the first shot we see of him, so it's cemented in our minds. But we see that he's running late to something.
He takes out his like little wristwatch that has like a register.
It's not even a wristwatch. It's a old timey like pocket watch that he pulls out out of the bathing suit.
Yeah. And he says that he's running late, so he kind of like dives through and then reemerges completely
fully clothed.
In his iconic blue coats and top hat and everything.
Yes, we want to talk about his outfit.
Yes, it's like I love 2017's outfit. Yeah. But I really, really love this one as well.
Just it's obviously very classic. It's the blue coat with the red collar, red sleeves, red spats, and like the silk top hat and the cane. Oh, and his little glasses are very important to this outfit. He's always wearing them. Wait, I remember how to pronounce it. Pince-nez.
Hey.
Pince-nez glasses. Didn't even need Google Translate.
Amazing.
And he runs out of the money bin. And
then we see him like stomping through Duckburg. Like he's not happy that he's running this errand.
No. And as he's walking, there's like, what do you call like who's like this It's a woman collecting funds for the poor.
Yeah, a charity worker, I think. Yeah. And, you know, she's, like, ringing her bell, and she like, is that, like,
It's a tambourine.
Yeah. And she asked him, you know, penny for the poor.
Yes, which, and get that it's 1987. Was a penny really worth that much in 1987?
Maybe it's just the alliteration. Yes. They wanted to do, like, dollars for the poor.
Yeah, like, pennies for the poor. That's, like, Mickey's Christmas Carol shit. But, yeah, she's like, you know, you want to help the poor? Like, richest man in the world?
And he literally, without missing a beat, just says, they're not worth it.
Penny for the poor? They're not worth it.
And he doesn't
stop.
By,
he does not stop walking. And I know we've talked about this scene before. We've mentioned it, definitely. It's so funny.
Because to me, it's the contrast of this little duck swimming in money, so happy, and then immediately being told, hey, would you like to, like, give us charity? And him being like, no. Like, they're not worth it. Like, not even just saying no. It's like...
Terrible.
He's the worst, and I love him.
It's great. So he keeps walking, and he walks by a lady offering free samples, and he doesn't stop until she said that they're free.
Yeah, it's a tray of, like, cheese, like cheddar cheese samples.
It's important mentioning that they're cheese, because these cheese samples will come back multiple times.
He, like, takes all of them. Yes, because
she's like, oh, but they're free. Yeah. And he's like, he runs back and scoops them all into his hat.
Yes. And he lets her know that he'll be back tomorrow.
And she's like, oh my god, because he took all of her free samples.
Yeah.
And, like, there's the detail that she calls him by name, Mr. McDuck, because obviously everyone in town knows who this mob boss is. He owns Duckburg.
Yeah. He does. It's not apparent that much this episode, but in future episodes, it's like, this man really owns
Scrooge McDuck Pizza, Scrooge McDuck Bank, Scrooge McDuck Burger Place.
Get fucked, Scrooge McDuck. But yeah.
He sees the clock tower, and he's realizing that he's definitely going to be late to his errand, and that he'll never make it unless he clutches pearls.
Tragically, upsettingly, has to spend money on a taxi.
Yes. And I love this like second detail right before we cut, because he like just calls for a taxi, just kind of yells it into the street. He notices the what are these called? Payphone. I forgot what the payphone was called. Haven't seen one in a while, y'all.
Same.
He notices the payphone next to him has like a coin in the little slot, like someone left their change, and he takes it.
Yeah.
And then we cut away from him.
And like that, just all those scenes together just tell you who this character is.
Right off the bat, he is happiest when he is swimming in his money, surrounded by his wealth. He hates having to run errands and having people ask him to part with any of his money.
Yeah.
He hates going out of his way.
No, yeah. So we cut to the pier.
Yes.
And we get like a nice like overhead shot of
like this is nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm impressed, DuckTales.
Right? Same. I'm like, because sometimes when you go from like an older show and then you watch the reboot, it's very different. And here I'm like, there's still like good effort that was put into making the show like visually nice.
Oh yeah. I think especially in these first episodes, because it's like the premiere and it's like they released it as a movie, so all these parts were together. But yeah, I mean, right off the bat, the animation holds up, I think, pretty well.
Yeah. So we get Donald Duck in his cute little blue Navy outfit talking to the triplets.
Yes. Because Donald's leaving to join the Navy. So, this isn't the last we're going to see of Donald in this DuckTales premiere, but we're not going to see much of him. Just kind of setting up right off the bat that Donald will not be a main character. So the fact that Donald is leaving to join the Navy is very funny to me, because Donald Duck has a real life military record. He has a like his military service is a genuine thing acknowledged by the United States Army.
Like, I wanted to say it's canon to real
Yes.
life. Is the way I wanted
Terrible.
to phrase it.
So, okay, Donald Duck. This
Yes.
character was created in 1934 in the animated adaptation of the classic children's story, The Wise Little Hen. It's a fun short. He's like a total shit. It's so fun. But Donald Duck would later find his niche as a comic foil to Mickey Mouse in his second animated appearance, The Orphan's Benefit. And Donald would later go on to star in 150 theatrical shorts and various educational films produced by Disney. So, Donald Duck was officially enlisted in the United States Army during World War II, during which he starred in a series of 7 animated shorts that parodied the experience of many drafted soldiers. I think it's interesting. So, Donald was used as the face of the Disney World War II propaganda. And this propaganda was made specifically because they were being funded by the Department of Defense. Because in the 1940s, during World War II, Disney itself as a company was suffering because they lost all of their European market.
Yeah.
And obviously this is the same time that they made Saludos Amigos and the Caballeros because they were trying to get the Latin American market. And at the same time, as part of the Goodwill Tour to kind of combat the spread of not the Nazis in South America. So that was going on. At the same time, the Department of Defense paid Disney as a company to make propaganda. Many of these pieces are racist, xenophobic, and troubling, disturbing to watch now. And they're no longer allowed to be viewed by researchers and will never be aired on television. I think the most well-known one, the 1943 Der Fuhrer's Face, won an Oscar. The only Donald Duck film to ever do so. Though obviously Disney has since distanced themselves from these shorts because of the aforementioned xenophobia and troubling images.
Yeah.
Though Donald Duck himself was later given an official promotion to Buck Sergeant and honorably discharged from the United States Army in 1984 as part of the celebration for his 50th birthday.
Wow.
I have a photo, which I might post. I don't know how official it is, but it is of Donald Duck being discharged by an actual United States Army from Lieutenant General Arthur E. Brown during ceremonies at the 25th Annual Torrance Armed Forces Day Parade.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Recognizing his 40th years of service to the Army since his 1941 World War II film, Donald Gets Drafted. And it looks like this photo is real, so I might post it. Which is insane.
Yeah, that's completely wild to me. Like, I knew he was officially, like, his service was official. I did not know that they had done, like,
there's a ceremony. He was officially discharged by a lieutenant general.
Oh my god.
So, 3 years later, in DuckTales, Donald would enlist in the United States Navy. He was officially addressed as Seaman Duck in the show, though Donald has never officially been enlisted in the United States Navy, but he was given the rare honor of being declared an honorary member of the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps.
Wow. That's so silly.
It's fantastic. Like, who made that choice? This cartoon duck would, one, have an actual rank. He is a buck sergeant in the United States Army, a retired buck sergeant, and an honorary member of the United States Navy and Marine Corps.
The fact that he's retired, I don't know why that hit me harder.
He's retired. Yeah, so it's so silly. What? Yeah. Like, I'm just picturing some, like, general or whoever who had to sign off. The lieutenant general who gave Donald... I need to mention, the photo of Donald Duck being discharged. It is a costume character.
Wait, you need to send me this. I need to see it.
Who is receiving these discharge papers? Okay, I will post it. As far as I can tell, it is an official photo. Its AP photo is credited.
Oh, yeah. If we got caught, let us know, but...
Yeah, if this is fake, I'll post it, and then we'll know if someone tells me it's fake, but... Alright, I'm sending a screenshot to Faby. It is the funniest...
Yes.
I found this, Donald Duck... My information on Donald Duck's official military rank is from the headstuff.org /culture/history /Disney Studios war story Donald Duck becomes sergeant. Yeah, I forgot to mention the very important detail that it is a costume character in uniform, in the Buck Sergeant's uniform, receiving these discharge papers.
I don't know why in my head this was more like a Roger Rabbit situation.
They just had the lieutenant general, and they posed, and someone drew. No, there is a costume character receiving these discharge papers from Lieutenant General Arthur E. Brown.
Was the Lieutenant General excited to do this? Humbled? I don't know. I want this photo framed in my house.
With the caption is very important.
I just love the giant Donald Duck discharge. Yes. It should say like
honorably discharged.
It's honorable.
Come on. Give him some credit. I'm sorry, I can't believe I forgot to mention the fact that it was a costume character.
That's very important.
It's crucial.
Amazing. So I wish this picture was in color. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was from 1984 at a point where newspapers were still in black and white.
Real life is so funny.
But so Donald here is voiced by Tony Anselmo. And Tony Anselmo was actually trained by the original voice of Donald Duck, Clarence Nash. He spent 3 years as Clarence Nash's understudy, with his career beginning in 1980 when he was around 20. And he first officially voiced Donald on a 1986 DTV Valentine's special on the Disney Channel.
Damn.
He voiced Donald prior to DuckTales, I believe since 1984. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. 1986 was obviously his first time voicing Donald. Because I know in Mickey's Christmas Carol, it is still Clarence Nash. I believe that's Clarence Nash's last performance as Donald, though I can't be sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been Donald all our lives.
Yes, he's been Donald Duck, for as long. This is the Donald we know for the most part. That's why watching Mickey's Christmas Carol is kind of jarring. Because it's one of the, at least for us, the only prominent Clarence Nash performance that we grew up with. Tony Anselmo voices Donald in everything from 1986 on, basically. In 2009, he became a Disney legend, which... rightfully so. I know Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, just became a Disney legend 2 years ago, which about time.
Yes.
But I met Tony Anselmo. I met him at
I regret not doing it.
I met him at Anime Expo 3 years ago. Good God.
Yes, 2018.
Jesus.
Yes.
Passage of time. It's whack. He was nice. I was crippled by social anxiety, so I can't remember what happened. But I remember he talked to me about the Legend of the Three Caballeros show that was coming out.
Yes.
When it was still meant to be a secret.
I remember that because we watched it before it was supposed
because
to have been
it premiered in Disney Philippines.
Yes.
A year before it was on... It was anywhere else, so it only just went up on Disney Plus a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, I remember that, because I don't know why I also didn't talk to him. I'm dumb.
Yeah, I got his autograph. It was very nice.
Yeah, but I remember you came, to me and my friend, and you were like, he talked to me about, Legend of the Tres Caballeros. I'm like, which I don't think he's supposed to do.
At that point, it was still kind of a secret. But he talked about how much he enjoyed doing it, because Donald is a prominent character. He's the main character of the show.
Yeah.
So he got to voice the main character. So that's fun. So yeah, here we have Tony Anselmo voicing Donald. This is 1987. He's been Donald for a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Aww.
But yeah, so here we have Donald again. So Donald is not going to be prominent in DuckTales. And here we see him saying goodbye to Huey, Dewey, and Louie because he is leaving to join the Navy.
And the kids aren't that happy about it.
They're real bummed.
Yes. Because immediately, like, all three of them are saying, like, Scrooge is, like, a cheap bastard,
because,
you know?
yeah, because they're going to be living with him while Donald is off with the Navy.
Yeah. Donald is very, like, I hope you know, but Scrooge is family, so be nice to him and behave.
Now, when I'm in the Navy, boys, you might join the Scrooge. But he's so cheap. Yeah, but he's family. Okay, Huey? Yes, Uncle Donald. No, back that, Huey. No, Uncle Donald. Huey, be good. And no spitballs. Yes and no, Uncle Donald. Oh, and one more thing. Give me a hug. We're really gonna miss you, Uncle Donald.
Which is so funny to me. Like, comparing this Donald and Scrooge to 2017 Scrooge.
Yeah, like, also, like, also we don't get too much Donald, but here there's no classic Donald yelling or anger. He's just saying bye to his kids in this scene.
Yeah. It's very sweet. I love looking at Huey and Dewey and Louie and their little, like, precious moments eyes that they have in this series.
Yeah, like, it's the return to the Roundheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Donald is telling the boys, like, to behave. He's telling them individually to behave, no back talk. To Louie, he says no spitballs.
Yes. He tells them to be good and then no spitballs. And Louie's like, yes and no. Yeah. And you know, they all end up giving each other a big hug.
Yeah, no, it's really cute. And I actually did miss the little duck voices for Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Same. As soon as I heard them, I was like, the little boys.
Yeah, so this is obviously Russi Taylor doing the voice of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Obviously Russi Taylor, who has since passed away. She passed away, I think, 2019. And yeah, I mean, she does obviously a really great job. And so hearing the little duck voices again, I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I'm like, there they are.
Yeah, they're hugging, and then Scrooge shows up in the taxi to ruin it. Yeah.
Like Huey's so savage. Like, oh, like here's what does he call him? Skinflint.
And Scrooge is so pissed about paying this taxi driver $2 to drive him across Duckburg.
Yeah, like, and the man is all like, oh, you know, can you give me a tip? Because it's a... And he gives cheese.
Because he put all the cheese in his hat. He takes off the hat and chucks a handful of cheese at the guy. And we hear the taxi man go, "Rrr." He kind of growls in response to being thrown a handful of warm cheese.
Oh.
It's so funny.
It's so funny, because then immediately Scrooge, like, runs towards
He's
Donald.
like, please
like,
don't leave.
Yeah.
Don't saddle me with these children.
Yeah. The kids, you just see them, they're so mad. I think Dewey's, like, you know, crossed arms looking away.
Yeah. Like Scrooge is trying last minute to keep Donald from joining the Navy. And Donald's I enlisted. Like, I think it's illegal at this point for me to back out.
Yeah, because Scrooge yells at him, like, you can't do it. Like, there's no profit in it. There's no profit in joining the Navy.
Because, I think he does get paid, Scrooge, but...
Yeah.
I don't know how the armed forces work.
Me either.
But... I shouldn't have thought. I remember. Donald wants to join the Navy to see the world.
Yes.
Because, I guess, was the United States not at war at this point? Like significantly?
Probably not.
1987. I don't know what the world politics situation was in 1987. I will freely admit that I was not alive.
That's actually a name we considered for this podcast.
Yes.
We weren't alive during the 90s.
We weren't alive in the 90s. Was almost a runner-up.
Yeah.
It now features on a shirt, though. in our merch
Yeah.
store if you want to buy a shirt that says I wasn't alive in the 90s.
But yeah.
Yeah, but Donald,
Yeah, I have no
Donald,
idea.
no, you're so hot. Don't join the imperialist war machine.
Also, when Donald says that he wants to see the world, Scrooge offers to buy him a globe.
Yes. But Donald's like, nope, I gotta go. And there's like a boat
I gotta go see the
there's a boat
world.
that's gonna take him to the ship. And he's like, take care of the boys. And he walks over to the boat. And we didn't mention he's in a Navy uniform, not his
Yeah.
classic like cartoon sailor costume, like an actual Navy uniform. And there's a fun like detail of him throwing the duffel bag onto the boat, but it catches on his arm and drags
Yeah,
him
so he
down.
also, gets launched.
He lands on the sailor steering the boat. Like, he lands on him. The guy is flattened against the controls of the ship. And he's just waving
just like-
goodbye.
Yeah, because Scrooge for one last time is yelling at him like, what did I do to deserve to be stuck with these kids?
Yes.
And Donald's like, you're the only one I trust. I think he's the only one he has as
Yeah.
well, but...
And I think we mentioned that we see American flags prominently in these scenes, and it's like, oh, God.
America.
But we see neither Scrooge nor the kids are happy about this arrangement.
Mm-mm. There's so many great eye rolls
Yes.
in this episode.
And Scrooge is like, all right, well, fuck, I guess let's get back home. And Louis is like, oh, let me get a taxi. And Scrooge is like,
Yeah.
no. I already spent money to get a taxi to get here. We're gonna walk the 3
Yes.
miles back to my mansion.
Oh my god. And then they're gonna have a nutritious
Yes.
lunch of
Cheese!
Ew.
And the cheese jokes are gonna keep coming, people. I'm very happy with this through line of his cheapness.
Yeah.
He's gonna make this cheese last until it is green.
And then or if it doesn't last, he just keeps going to
Yes,
the lady
yes.
and getting
He's
more
gonna go tomorrow
cheese
and come home with
samples.
more cheese cubes. And he's making the kids carry their own luggage, by the way. And they each have like a duffel bag and a suitcase.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then I don't know how many hours it takes them to
Oh my
get
god, 3 hours.
home.
That's like, I mean, for me, that would be 3 hours. 3 miles
Yeah.
would equal 3 hours of walking.
And then like part of it is like up a hill.
Yes.
Hell.
Yeah.
But they finally make it. And they're kind of excited.
At first,
like once they actually get there.
What do we think of Scrooge McDuck's mansion?
I don't like it that
No.
much as compared to the other
Yeah,
mansions in
we're
Toy
biased
17.
now.
This one gives me like I don't like the windows specifically.
I think I've described original DuckTales as being very Toontown-esque.
Yes.
So this kind of nebulous time period, mildly 1940s, like often inspired by the comics, and too cartoony to be realistic.
Yeah.
Compared obviously to DuckTales 2017, where Scrooge's mansion is modeled after a Scottish castle.
Yeah.
So a lot of attention to detail there. Whereas here, when the mansion does look nice, but it's more
It's more
cottagey,
like
like on the
I was
outside.
gonna say like fairy tale cottage.
Yeah, it's more like long and squat.
Yeah. It has like those like lattice windows
Yeah, and dollar signs
that I'm not a fan
everywhere. There's
of. How else do you know whose house
there's
it is?
a dollar sign pool, which I'm actually bummed DuckTales 2017 didn't bring across. 'Cause I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
that's really fucking cool. It's a nice detail. And like Scrooge has to knock on his own front door. I'm like, do you not carry keys? I mean, I guess not.
Yeah.
That'd be so annoying
No.
though. You have to knock on your own door so that your butler opens it. Just bring a key.
He's too rich to open the door with his own little hands.
Yeah. Because he knocks and Duckworth, the MVP of the episode, opens the door to let them in. I'm like, Duckworth
God
is
save-
such a bitch. He is. I
Yes.
forgot.
He's extremely bitchy.
I think he softens
It's
up
so
later
funny.
in the show. I think it's this
Yeah.
episode specifically that he is just...
He's really
He
shitty.
hates having the kids here more than Scrooge does. He genuinely does not
Yeah.
want the kids here.
Because this was a bachelor pad before the
Yes.
game.
Because Huey, Dewey, and Louie enter, and they're like, oh my god, like, this is a mansion. Like, I think they call it a castle, I think.
Yeah.
And they can't believe this
And
is where they're going to be living.
Yeah, and because Scrooge tells Duckworth to carry the suitcases to the kids'
Yeah.
room. So they get, like, excited, like, they have their own room, like, it's gonna be great. Like, they're already imagining, like,
Lap of luxury,
rich-
Richie Rich.
yeah, yeah.
McDonald's in their own home.
But no.
What do we think the situation was with Donald?
Like, what?
Because I don't know.
Like, him leaving, or?
Like, where they lived before? Because they're like,
Oh.
our own room. Like,
I think it's the same. It's, like, the little, like, houseboat that you typically see.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It probably would be the houseboat that's in Toontown, though.
Yeah, I was literally thinking, I'm like, is there, like, acknowledgement of Huey, Dewey, and Louie in that little houseboat?
Maybe like a photo or
There's,
something.
Like, photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Miss
Yeah.
Daisy, I think is the name of the boat, right? Yeah, it's
Mhm.
cute.
It's very cute.
But yeah. So the kids are put in the attic, and they're like sleeping on like camp beds. Like they don't even
Yeah.
have blankets, or like they have a pillow each.
Yeah, they have a pillow each, and, like, this isn't even, like, he emptied out the room for
No.
them. It looks like there's still, like, shit in
Yeah,
the
there's
attic.
golf clubs, tennis rackets, like
Like a treasure chest, like a chest.
a bear rug, a bearskin
Yeah.
rug,
Yes.
and there's like
He was nice enough to give him a
I was gonna say
television,
with
I
like a
think.
really crooked antenna,
Mhm.
and they obviously hate it.
Yeah. There's like a rack of just
Yes.
coats and shit.
Yeah, like it's just random stuff. It's just the attic. The stuff has been shoved to the side to make room for the camp beds.
Yeah, it's all shit he doesn't want to think about, including the kids.
And they've been here for 3 days. It's been 3
Yeah.
days. Have they not left the attic? Like are they locked in like Cinderella?
I was gonna say, it gives me big Cinderella
Yeah.
vibes. Like, I have the key to this room.
And we see Huey's leaning out the window, and he says that there's 75 rooms in this house, and Scrooge put them in the attic.
Wow. And yeah, we get to see this, like, kind of like top
Yeah,
angle.
this really interesting pan out. We see the helipad that Scrooge has
Yes.
behind the house.
And we see, like, how high, like, this attic tower is at, like, in comparison. And yeah, they're just out of sight, out of mind.
Honestly, and maybe Duckworth put them in here without telling Scrooge.
Maybe, honestly.
Go see Duckworth, their warden. He unlocks the door. Is it locked? Who knows? He comes in with a tray under a cloche that has a dollar
Yeah.
sign on top.
Of course.
And like they're asking Duckworth where Scrooge is. Like they're desperate enough to want to spend time with Scrooge at this point.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, Duckworth is like, oh, you know, Mr. McDuck is very busy. Like, he doesn't have time for you.
And he forgets which one's which one he's talking to in the middle of his sentence.
And it's Dewey. Dewey's talking.
Yeah, and Dewey's like, I'm Dewey, and Duckworth's just, of course, sir. His eyes are just half lidded the whole time, or just closed
Yeah.
entirely, because he could not give less of a shit.
No. He tells them that, you know, that Scrooge put him in charge of them, and none of them are happy.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, Duckworth, where's Uncle Scrooge? We haven't seen him for days.
Oh, he's a very busy man, Master,
Dewey.
of course. As you know, Mr. McDuck put me in charge of you.
Well, whoop-de-doo.
Exactly.
And he's like, well, I brought this, and again, the cheese, because Louie's like, if there's more cheese under there, we're gonna lose our minds.
Yeah. don't get your underwear in a twist.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like Duckworth.
it's
Well,
not.
they don't have pants, but
No, yeah.
but no, like he put a letter under this cloche, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a letter from Donald, but like, just carry the letter.
You can't touch it for too long. It's gonna get
Germs.
germs.
Donald must have written. How did he even write them a letter? He's, I assume, on the open ocean.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know how military works.
I mean, he has to be on land to send a physical letter.
Well, yeah, but like, what if they're like, everyone can send letters and there's like a boat that leaves?
I'm
the
just saying,
land?
like, it's been 3 days, and he
Oh,
already
yeah.
he already
Oh, yeah.
sent them mail.
Who knows? I mean, he misses his kids. That's all I need.
So the kids are fighting over the letter, and Duckworth has to get the last fucking word in.
He like leaves him to it, and as he's leaving, he's like, "Wow, I'm surprised these urchins can read."
Wow. But so they read this letter from Donald, and he's telling in a exaggerated account
Yeah.
of his
He's-
time in the Navy so far.
He's omitting a lot of specific details
Yeah.
that make this very important.
So we see him. So what he's actually doing is, like, he's been made to clean, like, the sides of the boat. He's swabbing the deck or whatever.
He's like a custodian.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
And as he's saying that he's caught the attention of Admiral Grimmets. And we see what's actually happening is that he, like, dumps a bucket of dirty water on him as he's cleaning.
Yes.
I don't think Admiral Grimmett doesn't talk in this episode, but he'll later be voiced by Peter Cullen in all his later appearances. The voice of Optimus Prime.
Oh, okay.
That's why that's significant.
I should really. I
should-
should really know
Yes,
that.
you
by
should know
then.
Peter Cullen, his name. Yeah, and then we see he's made to swab the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, sticks his head in a jet fighter engine. And
Yeah,
it fires
and
in his face.
Yeah, and he's describing it like in the letter as that he's been assigned to do like some dangerous jet fighter work.
Yeah. So just some classic Donald luck, Donald getting hurt. Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, and he wishes the boys well, and that he loves them, and he'll write again soon.
We see him also on the aircraft carrier, and I'll talk about all these fighter jets, and it makes the kids want to play.
Yeah.
And so I guess they
They
weren't
immediately
locked in
start.
the attic because
No, I guess they're just maybe not allowed to go into certain rooms via Duckworth being a jerk.
Yes. We see they go into, like, one of the dining rooms, and they have Dewey on a cart, and they're playing that he's, like, a jet fighter, and they're, like, running at Huey, who's playing the, like, air traffic control person.
He has like
Ping
I don't know
pong
what they're called,
paddles?
like the ping pong.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ping pong paddles. Yes.
And they crash, and they break stuff or something.
Yeah. It's very cute. I like to see them playing, but yeah, they're causing a lot of noise.
And Scrooge is
immediately-
in the building. He's in the mansion.
Yeah.
He's in his office. I love the desk that he works at. What is it called? It's like one of those
same.
old-timey desks that has, like, the actual cover you can pull down to close over the desk. We only get this brief shot of Scrooge's study. I like how the study looks, because you have to get down some stairs to get into it. But there's too much noise, so Scrooge is going to the office to get work done. He's just, like, hiding from the kids in one of the million rooms of his house.
Yeah. That's so mean. Because, yeah, so then as he's, like, walking out, we get a shot of the kids that are playing, and they're playing with, like, the curtain cords.
Yeah, because they need it for something in their game.
Yeah, for landing
Yeah,
cables.
but that means that Huey's at the
And
window.
And Huey spots Scrooge leaving the mansion.
And because they're so desperate for human interaction, they're gonna follow him out.
Yeah. And so you see this shot of, like, is it the foyer?
Yeah.
I guess you could call it. And you see the giant, like, curving stairs that I've always liked. And they're almost out of the door when they run into Duckworth.
And I love what we just get him being like, no, you can't leave. And they
No.
make mischievous eye contact. And we cut to them just, like, less than a foot behind Scrooge, walking behind him up to the doors of the money bin.
Yeah, like what they are, little ducks following him. Just, he should be able to hear them.
Like, they have been a foot behind you for 3 miles.
Yeah.
Or however many miles. Probably less than 3.
Yeah.
Maybe, let's say a mile. If it's 3 miles to get to the docks. The money bin is, like, not just Scrooge's office, but multiple people's offices. There are actual employees here. And there's, like, a line of desks. And Scrooge stops at the desk of this random guy who's whistling.
Yes, he's like reading a newspaper and just kind of whistling. And Scrooge is...
Yeah, he's like, tells him off for whistling while he works.
And then the guy's like, I'm not working, wait, what?
I mean...
At that point, like, Huey, like, tugs on Scrooge's coat. Like, finally acknowledging that.
Yeah, like, hey, chill out, Uncle Scrooge. And he's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, he's like, wait, what are you doing here? Like, Scrooge. In the animation, they're following less than a foot behind him.
Yeah. They're not, like, sneaky.
No.
They're literally following him.
But this is, like, the funniest exchange in the entire episode for me. They're like, he's like, what are you doing here? And they tell him that they missed him. Missed me? What do you throw at me?
And Huey has to be like, no, like, Uncle Scrooge, we missed seeing you.
He's like, oh, did you? Ugh.
He's like, ugh.
What are you doing here?
We missed you, Uncle Scrooge.
Missed me? What'd you throw at me?
No, we missed seeing you.
Did you, lads? Ugh.
And so he immediately wants to know what happened to Duckworth.
Like, Duckworth is meant to keep you away from me.
Yeah.
What happened?
Huey's like, oh, you know, he got tied up.
Cut to
Duckworth, like, rolled up in, like a carpet.
Yeah, and then tied with a bow. Upside down. He is upside down inside the mansion.
Like, by like, the door, just directly by the door.
And we hear just Duckworth being like, this is definitely going to delay dinner. Like, what? Who are these kids? Freaking gangsters. Just they jumped this old man and tied him up.
I love the visual of them, like, rolling him into this carpet.
And then tying it with the bow and leaving him there. Like, Scrooge is eventually gonna come back home and see this. If Duckworth doesn't free himself first.
Yeah. Oh my god. I would just take a nap.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm not getting paid enough to break out of this. Yeah.
So sadly, Scrooge has to concede to them being there.
And we see what they decide to do is to fish in his money bin.
Yeah.
In the actual pit of money.
That's cute.
It's really
'cause they're
cute.
just, like,
They have...
acting like... Yeah, like, they're acting like they're fish. They're getting very excited for the good ones, you know?
They just have, like fishing line. And I think Louis pulls up, like, a bill. And they're like, just a 50. Throw it back. This episode has a lot of funny little lines that you'll miss if you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
And they're really good.
Yeah.
It surprised me how funny, like, a lot of this episode was.
Yeah, because I watched this, like, multiple times to get notes and get it fresh. And I'm just like, those little one-liners just got to me every single time. Yeah. But here comes Scrooge to spoil their fun. He, like, takes it from them, and immediately the kids are like, no, like, we're not gonna keep the money, we're just playing with it, you know?
And Scrooge, obviously, money is all he thinks about, so he's like, well, didn't Donald teach you, like, how to, you know, treat money right? Like, what did he teach you? And, like, Donald was, like, a parent, and it's, like, it's cute what they say. Donald taught them how to cross the street,
how to play ball. And then Dewey's like, and how to talk to strangers. And they all like, they're like, you know, Scrooge is a stranger in this situation.
Money is to be taken seriously. Didn't your Uncle Donald teach you anything?
Sure, how to play ball, how to cross the street and how to avoid strangers.
From the vibe I get, I mean, they've never been to the mansion before. I guess this is kind of the first time actually meeting Scrooge, at least to this extent, like they're living with him now.
I just like picture like a terrible like dinner at a restaurant.
Yes.
Like they saw Scrooge just being like shitty, cheap.
Yeah.
Like they're like, we don't ever want to spend time with that guy again. And
they're
now
forced to live
here
with
they are
him.
living with him. Yeah.
And so the kids leave because like they're getting fed up with Scrooge. Like how he's treating them, really?
Yeah.
By not letting them play and like just constantly being on their case or not not wanting them around.
Yeah, like they straight up know that.
And so they leave. They leave the money bin. And Scrooge says that he comments that he'd rather face the Beagle Boys than his nephews. Yes, cut to the Beagle Boys.
In jail.
Of course, where else?
It's Big Time, Burger, and Bouncer, right?
Yes.
The usual
Yes, the
three.
classic three. Or what has become the classic three.
As near as I can figure, we've hit Scrooge's money bin 299 times.
Well, 300's the charm.
Yeah, but first we gotta get out of here.
So the Beagle Boys are another creation of Carl Barks. They're inspired by the real-life Barker Karpus criminal gang, which first appeared in the Walt Disney Comics and Stories, number 134, the Barks comic Terror of the Beagle Boys. In the comics, the individual Beagle Boys are referred to by their prison numbers, indicated on the tags on their shirts. Their distinctive red shirts. Like, the numbers are all 1s, 7s, and 6s. And, like, that's it. And so, in the comics, they're just referred to by their numbers. They don't have names. The only Beagle Boy who ever received a name in the comics was Blackheart Beagle in the 1957 comic The Fantastic River Race, where we learn about Scrooge's long-standing rivalry with the Beagle Boys, dating back to the Mississippi Riverboat days, where he fought against Blackheart Beagle, who would later be known as like Grandpappy Beagle. So DuckTales obviously gave the Beagle Boys distinct personalities and gave them names, and was later created Ma Beagle, fully basing this family on the popular image of Ma Barker and the Barker Karpus gang. So,
Ooh.
Ma Beagle is based on an actual criminal mother.
Yeah.
The Beagle Boys also appeared in the short Sport Goofy and Soccer Mania, which is the weirdest thing I've seen Disney makes until the Paul Ruddish Mickey Mouse shorts.
Yeah.
It is insane. I think of it as kind of as a pilot for DuckTales, because I believe Lucy Taylor does the voice of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. It's not Alan Young as Scrooge, but we do see the Beagle Boys looking much more like this, like the DuckTales versions, rather than the comic book versions, though they don't have the very distinct Big Time or Bouncer or Big Time looks quite yet.
You sit around all day watching TV while the twins here have been out rustling up a job.
Yeah, like what?
Like our dear friend Scrooge McDuck is giving away a trophy worth over $1 million.
$1 million?
And the Beagle Boys would also show up again, inspired by DuckTales, in the direct-to-video film Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, the Three Musketeers. Yes. In that movie, our favorite movie, they work as minions for Captain Pete.
Who's gonna tell the blooming boss the bad news?
Don't look at me. I ain't saying nothing. You tell him.
Me? I told him last time, you silly twit, and I don't believe in doing it twice. Oi, here's an idea. Shorty, you tell him.
Tell him what?
That we, you know.
Botched the job.
He's not going to like that.
No, they're different in that version in that they have grayish skin and yellow eyes.
Yeah.
And two of the Beagle Boys, the taller ones, speak with British accents, voiced by Maurice LaMarche. And the third one, the short one, speaks with a French accent, voiced by Jeff Bennett.
Imagine my surprise when I made that connection that, like, the childhood Beagle Boys were these. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah. I don't think they're ever called the Beagle Boys, but it is very distinctly them. They have the black domino masks. They look the same, except for that they're gray in that version.
Yeah. As a child, I was like kind of scared of them.
Yeah.
Because they are like creepy.
Yeah,
looking
they are
in some
menacing
scenes.
at certain points in the movie, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I love that
It's
movie.
oh my
It's
god,
my
that movie's
childhood.
phenomenal. But anyway,
Yeah.
so the Beagle Boys here, we have Big Time, who was voiced by Frank Welker, Burger Beagle, and Bouncer Beagle, who were both voiced by Chuck McCann, who also voices Duckworth.
Oh.
I think it's fun that DuckTales gave them distinct personalities.
I'm gonna struggle a bit to tell which one is which at first,
Yeah.
and then I'll get the hang of it.
I think Bouncer especially is not very distinct.
No, yeah.
Big Time is the most, followed by Burger, though even Burger is less him.
I think Burger, you just have to like hear him
Yes.
talk and like.
He has a very
You can
high
tell,
pitched
but, like, if
voice.
Yes, but just by seeing them at first, it's a little confusing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So they're in jail. They're home away from home.
They're doing. They're tallying up the days that they've been here.
And
well, naturally, no.
No.
Is it?
It's
no. They're tallying up how many times they've tried to rob Scrooge's
Yes.
money bin, and it's 299 times.
Yes. And Bouncer is saying how 300 is the charm.
But the problem is that they're in jail. So how are they going to get outside to be able
Yes.
to rob the money bin?
Cue the friendliest cop ever, bringing them like a gift because somebody
Yeah.
sent them a gift.
Classic ribbons and
Yeah.
everything. So
They're bonbons.
Burger, yes,
it looks like.
Burger immediately grabs one and eats it.
And it explodes because it's a bomb. We didn't mention Burger has a really fun detail. His number sign on his chest has a bite taken out of it. Comedy gold. He likes to eat, y'all.
Yep. And then one of my a line I remember the most is Big Time telling Burger that they're not bonbons, they're boom booms.
Yes.
And that's just a line that runs through my head sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Because, Big Time realizes that they're bombs. Big Time is like the brains of the Beagle Boys whenever he's part of it, of the trio. Because the Beagle Boys always come in threes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a note included in the boom booms.
Because they're very clearly
Yes,
bombs.
yes,
They're,
we
like,
didn't
classic,
say
yeah.
that they literally just look like the classic, like black round bombs with a wick, with like just kind of chocolate drizzled on them and like dessert topping drizzled on top.
Yeah.
Like the little wicks are sticking out.
And so the note says to use the bombs to escape tonight, and then to meet him at L'Orange Theater.
Yep, that's it.
Yes.
I didn't understand it when Big Time said it the first time in like the voice that Frank Welker's doing. So I was like, the something theater. That's where they're going.
Mm-hmm. And it's signed, the note is, by El Capitan.
Yes. And so that's their plan. So they're gonna break out to meet up with whoever this guy is who's helping them break out.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to Scrooge in his office at the money bin.
Mm-hmm.
I like his office. Like, this is a look we see a lot. A place we see a lot.
Same. Yeah. He has this big red armchair that he's sitting in.
There's like a adding machine on the desk. The curtains have dollar signs, and the door to the bin is the vault is right next to him. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's sitting at his desk mourning the fact that boarding schools are too expensive, so he can't send the boys there.
No. Yes, he can't get rid of them.
No.
So he pushes one the intercom on his desk. I don't think he calls for. I don't think he says specifically to anyone, but he asks whoever, his secretary, to send in the solicitors to make him feel better. Specifically, send in the solicitors so he can drop them into his torture dungeon or throw them out of a 10-story window to his amusement.
Yeah. He specifically says that he needs to be cheered up, and this is how he does it.
Yes. Because he has
so the first
a fucking what is this remote remind me of? A car wash remote? I don't know what this reminds me of.
Yeah.
It's this.
It's it's like a long, like, kind of like power outlet
Yes.
looking thing with various buttons on it. Yeah.
And so we get a pig in a suit coming in to ask for, was it funds for the Panhandlers Association?
For the retired panhandlers of America.
Wow. And Scrooge opens up a trapdoor. The first of many in this episode.
Yes.
To drop the pig into, to his presumed death.
Who knows? We don't care about him.
No.
We see just Scrooge is having the time of his life now, just laughing.
Yeah, and then we get this duck with a misplaced mustache, or a pelican maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
He's a terrible design, whatever it is. He looks terrible. He doesn't even get to finish a sentence before a hose comes out of the wall and sprays him with a tidal wave of water.
Yeah.
That throws him out of Scrooge's office.
Mm-hmm.
And Scrooge is losing it. He is pounding on the desk. He is laughing so hard.
Mm-hmm. He's very much cheered up now. And then next comes in the third and final solicitor.
Yes. Like, he's not even a solicitor. He's the most...
A recruiter?
Recruiter. Oh Christ.
Yeah.
He is like the most top-heavy duck until Launchpad shows up. But he's not nearly as hot as Launchpad, so...
No, it's because he has, like, the same, like, tiny head.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the proportions are so funny to me.
Because the body is
like,
fine, and then the head is just, like, there's no neck. It's just sitting on there.
Yeah. It's only the head.
Yeah. And we see he's, like, a Junior Woodchuck, like, general. Because I don't know how much they get into it in DuckTales, but Carl Barks created, like, a whole intricate lore for the Junior Woodchucks. It's, like, 5-star generals or whatever you can get up to.
Oh wow, all the ranks and stuff.
And so this guy's like is like military-esque Boy Scout uniform with like a fur hat or a coonskin hat. That's the hat that the woodchucks wear.
I think it's a coonskin hat. Yeah.
And the Junior Woodchuck recruiter starts talking about the Junior Woodchucks, so they're devoted to something or other. Scrooge pushes a button, and these giant cartoon robotic hands pick him up under his arms and start dragging him towards the window to throw him out.
What the fuck? And meanwhile, this like man is trying to give his pitch for the Junior Woodchucks, and he's like dangling outside of the window.
And he's saying that the Junior Woodchucks keep boys so busy that they can't get into trouble. Mm-hmm. And he is dangling out the window. How high up is Scrooge's office? How far are they falling?
Well, I'm assuming it's like the very top
right?
of like...
Yes, because like half of the money bin, like the building, is the vault. Mm-hmm. And like Scrooge's office is at the entrance, and then there's the however many feet of depth.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why are solicitors still coming
see
Scrooge?
They come to see Scrooge. All they're getting is a trip to the hospital.
Yeah. He'll laugh at your face, and then you'll get injured.
Yes.
That's all that's gonna happen.
Either you end up in the torture dungeon, or you get dropped 10 stories.
Oh no. But Scrooge is like intrigued by that.
Yeah, so he stops
and wants to know more.
From the robot hands from dropping him out a window. Quite yet.
Sir, the Junior Woodchucks are devoted to keeping boys so busy collecting merit badges they can't get into trouble.
Tell me more.
Meanwhile, we see the kids are still in the money bin, and there's some sort of like a museum in the bin.
Yeah.
And the kids are exploring.
Mm-hmm. And they're disappointed because it's all of Uncle Scrooge's junk that's in there. Yeah.
And it's a bunch of just artifacts, like flags and busts and framed stuff on the wall. Mm-hmm. It's not established if Scrooge adventures yet, like if this is stuff he's gone on adventures. I don't think so, since he didn't seem to know, we'll see about the MacGuffin of the episode, the wooden sailboat, the wooden ship. He doesn't like know about it, or like where he got it isn't ever like brought up, I don't think.
It's just kind of a thing. It's not like he was collecting it for the purpose that it has. Yeah.
Because we see the kids as they walk into a museum and they're quickly bored. They see on a pedestal a wooden model, a wooden ship.
And immediately it catches their attention because they think that Uncle Donald would like that little boat.
Yeah. And we see back in Scrooge's office, like the junior woodchuck general guy is giving his pitch while still being while still dangling from the robot hands, holding him above Scrooge's desk, like parallel to the desk.
Yeah, just one wrong move and he gets just tossed out of the window.
And he's given Scrooge like 3 hats for the boys and like sashes, and he's like I think he gives Scrooge like the Junior Woodchuck guidebook to give to the kids. And Scrooge takes it right as an alarm sounds. Yes. And Scrooge he tells the guy, "Bill me," and he pushes the button to have him thrown out the window anyway.
And you just hear the guy like say like "thank you"
as he's tossed. Yeah. What are you thanking him for?
Yeah. Oh
letting you give your pitch?
I guess so.
And Scrooge,
I would charge him like triple the amount that would like membership cost.
Like, I don't know. Is there a membership dues? Is it just like a community service type thing? I think it's fine that it just says "bill me." Like, I think it's like, sir, this is free. We're funded by donations.
Yeah.
But so Scrooge runs out of his office with a blunderbuss to face this intruder because I guess he's too cheap to pay for security.
God.
He is. We know he's too cheap to pay for security.
Yeah, he is.
Because he has to hire Gizmo Duck 3 seasons later.
Hell yeah. So yeah, he just walks in on Huey and Louie doing a little stack of them to get to the little boat.
Yeah, because they wanted to get a closer look at it. But when Scrooge runs in, they're surprised and they topple to the floor.
Yeah. And then in that, they like toss the boat, but Scrooge manages to catch it before it hits the ground. And I imagine shattered or something.
Yeah. It's like some old wooden boat. Huey's like, "Oh, we wanted that junky boat for Donald." Like, I guess they're gonna package it and send it to him somehow. Like, that's stealing, Huey, but you're 10, so it's fine.
Yeah. It's the thought that counts.
And Scrooge gets pissed because it's he gets offended they called it junky because it's a priceless artifact.
And immediately grounds the kids until further notice.
Yes. He doesn't let them explain further or do anything. The priceless artifact. I'm like, sure, Scrooge.
Like, you don't even know what it
really is. No, he doesn't know what it is. It's just like a wooden ship model. Like,
yeah.
Whatever, Scrooge. He just wants a reason to ground the kids.
Yep. So we go back to jail, where the escape is finally happening.
Yes, they plant the boom boom bonbons.
Nice.
Thank you. The bombs. They like carve out a hole in the wall and they put the bombs in. They light a match and they explode. And we see them escape. And like the lights go on in the prison and they're searching for them, but no, they clearly escape. And we see they go to the theater, and it's like this theater has been Phantom of the Opera. It is in pieces. There is no ceiling, basically.
Yeah, and you can tell that like the ceiling caved in because there's pieces of what I assume is the ceiling on like the theater seats and everything.
And they walk out onto the stage, and it's a fun like ambiance to this clandestine meeting that they're having. Because we see their mysterious benefactor emerges from the shadows behind them.
Yes.
He is the shadiest motherfucker I've ever seen.
I hate looking
He's
at him.
terrible to look at, and we're not even seeing his full face.
Yeah.
So this is El Capitan. He is Spanish, which is good, I guess.
I am.
And he's wearing a large wide brimmed fedora and a trench coat. And he's okay. I don't think we've described what the dog people look like in Duckburg very well.
Oh yes, we have not. No.
They look kind of weird.
Yes.
They don't look as weird. I know. I don't think Carl Barks does this as much, but like in Don Rosa's comic books, the dog people just look like humans with big black like cartoon dog noses. Yes. But here they're obviously inspired more by Carl Barks. They do look vaguely dog-ish. I love the Beagle Boys, but I hate how flesh colored they are.
I was gonna say they're like, it'd be fine if they weren't that like peach colored.
They're peach specifically. That's why like in DuckTales 2017 they are brown, like dogs, like brown furred. In like Mickey's Three Musketeers, they're gray. And I think in their various cameos, they've ranged more into light brown or just white, depending on the various cameos. But here they are like peach skin toned.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
Me either.
I think that's my biggest gripe.
Yeah, like,
besides that, I'm like, sure, they look fine. They look doggish.
Yeah, they look more doggish than other versions of them. So I'm like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. It's the flesh.
Because they also have like, they all have 5 o'clock shadows. And so I'm like, why you like just feel flesh toned. Don't like that. And El Capitan looks even worse.
Yes.
Because he's not the same kind of dog as them. And he doesn't have the same kind of design. He's like a very long nose, long, like snout. Thank you. I'm like, what's the face thing that dogs have? And like his two drooping, like the mustache droops down over the sides.
And he's like clutching it to the trench coat.
He's always clutching it closed, and there's we'll learn, spoilers, there's no real reason. Like, nobody knows what you look like, dude. Like, nobody knows who you are. Yeah. Like, you're fine. But he has this creepy flasher kind of vibe. And then clutching
the fact that he's
stupid trench coat closed. And it's a nice detail in when Big Time goes to shake his hand, like, oh, like, good to meet you. Thanks for like helping us escape. And he doesn't reach out to shake his hand. And so Big Time kind of pulls his hand back, like, all right, weirdo.
So El Capitan explains that, you know, the Beagle Boys are experts on Scrooge McDuck's money bin, and he wants them to steal something for him. And the Beagles assume like money because it's the money bin, and El Capitan says no. Like, he uses a lot of Spanish words, which
like
I have mixed feelings about.
Because we learn later that he's Spanish, but we don't know that from the start. He's just the bad guy using caballeros and no hombres. And he's very obviously evil. So
yes.
Right here, caballeros.
Pleased to meet you. So why did you spring us anyway?
You are all experts on Scrooge McDuck's money bin. I want you to steal something from it for me.
Cash?
No, hombres. Something much more valuable.
What's more valuable than 3 cubic acres of cash?
A small wooden ship.
So he tells them that he wants them to steal a small wooden ship.
Yes, that's more valuable than the 3 cubic acres of cash that Scrooge has in his money bin. Wild. And El Capitan is voiced by Jim Cummings. He voices a lot of characters in this episode. I keep catching him as different side characters. He was the whistling employee. I think he was also the cop in the guard the guard in the prison.
So then we go back to the mansion, specifically it's like bath time for Scrooge.
A standing bath?
I don't,
Like, he doesn't have time to get in a bathtub? And so he's having Duckworth give him like a rinse?
I don't know. Because we pan into this room and
it looks kind of like Scrooge's worry room that we'll see later. Like there's a circle on the ground, like a ring. Mm-hmm. That kind of looks like the worry room that Scrooge will have later, though it's not quite the same because the worry room specifically is like, I think has a sign that says worry room. This is just like a vaguely padded room. Like the walls are padded.
Yeah, and
it reminds me of like it makes me think of he's like in a Fabergé egg, like a giant Fabergé egg for some reason. It feels like whatever room this is, it's domed.
Yeah, honestly,
right?
Yeah, it has that vibe.
Because the walls look padded.
Quilted.
It's quilted,
yeah,
yes.
And like the little doorway.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah. There's like a random table in this room. There's like a coat rack beside them, and Duckworth is just standing there with like a towel and a bucket of water. And Scrooge is
in his little bathing
in his striped
suit.
bathing suit and spats, and he's walking around the room talking about how he's pissed that Donald dumped the kids on him. Mm-hmm. I had to set the scene first for this strange scene.
Yeah, he's mad that, that they're now his responsibility. And he, like, calls them that they're little, troublesome little brats.
Yes, as Huey, Dewey, and Louie stand in the doorway, conveniently, to hear Scrooge complain about them without a filter.
Yeah, and, I mean, Duckworth is also just not disagreeing with him.
Duckworth is just fanning the flames. He's like, yes, I hate them. Get rid of them. And the kids at a point hear enough. And they just they leave, and they decide they're going to leave. They decide they're going to run away.
Yeah, because I think specifically Scrooge kind of says like, how did I ever let Donald like dump them on me? And yeah, Huey's like, I told you guys that he didn't want us. Like, let's get out.
And cut to they leave. They pack up their stuff and they are walking out the door.
Yeah, they have their little suitcase and their little bag.
In the middle of the night.
Gone.
It's night. It's dark.
Yeah. Oh my god. But of course, they didn't hear the rest of the conversation.
Of course, they leave conveniently at they heard the worst thing possible and leave immediately after before they hear Scrooge rethink his comments.
His nasty comments.
Jeez. And so he stops so that Duckworth can give him like the sponge bath rinse thing.
Yeah, he's
just standing. Like he's not in a tub or anything.
No. Like Duckworth just squeezes out like the sponge on his head and then like just like
towel dries his head.
Towel dries it. Yeah.
It's so weird.
And that's it. That's all he does.
That's all it does. And while Scrooge is like, oh, but the boys remind me of myself at that age.
Yeah, they're cunning, sharp, and resourceful.
But Duckworth is like, no, sir, don't give in. Like,
no, sir, don't love your nephew.
He tells him not to go soft. I'm like, Duckworth, jeez. I mean, I guess they did wrap him up in a rug.
I told you he didn't want us. Right, let's get out of here.
The worst thing about it is the little nose punchers remind me of myself at that age. Cunning, sharp, resourceful.
Don't go soft, sir.
No, Duckworth, I've been wrong.
But yeah, so Scrooge kind of has, a change of heart and tells Duckworth that he's going to talk to them and make it up to them in the morning. But the kids are gone.
They're like in the streets of Duckburg, carrying their bags and talk about saying that Uncle Donald will take them back. And I'm like, he is in the middle of the ocean, kids. He is God knows where.
Like, where are they going?
Yeah.
Are they just going to, like, I don't know.
No, we don't know what their plan was. But as they're walking, they see El Capitan standing under a auspicious streetlight, which highlights how suspicious he looks, standing in his way too baggy trench coat and huge fedora.
Yes. And he's looking, like, away from them and just, like, making weird, like, noises and being weird.
Yeah, they see that he's, like, staring at something, and they see that it's the money bin. And the money bin's doors are open. They see a flashlight in there.
Mm-hmm. And the kids immediately decide to check it out. Yeah. They go. I'm like, where's your stuff, first of all?
I think we see him drop it.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going in. I'm like, you were 10. What is your plan? Yes. But, yeah, so they head inside. And the bosses, the Beagle Boys, who are searching for the wooden ship.
And one of my favorite lines in this is, at this point, it's Big Time, Big Time that's, like, mad because they can't find the little ship. What do I look like? A little wooden sailor?
It's another one of those lines that if you don't hear it, like, just will go right over your head. But it's just these quick, clever lines that I wasn't expecting.
How do I know where the little wooden ship is? What do I look like, a little wooden sailor? Just look everywhere.
And so the kids decide to go get help, but they get spotted at that point.
By a bouncer. Mm-hmm. He's like, kids, grab him. And they run straight past, like, inches away from Big Time and Burger, who just watch them go by, and then before yelling, don't let them get away.
It's like you let them get a head start at that point.
They were right there. You watched them run by.
And then they walk by, like, I'm getting mixed signals because I think Dewey calls it, I
don't know if it's the captions that are bad, because the captions on Disney Plus for this episode specifically have been pretty terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have both the subtitles and my transcript notes done by probably a loving fan at some point.
Because they get the fire hose that's in the wall.
Yeah.
And they pull it out and they pull it taut and they trip up the Beagle Boys. Mm-hmm. And so they run to the museum, the boys. Mm-hmm. I love Big Time's non-curses. Which I think he yells like blankety heck.
Yeah, I had never, like, paid attention to that, because he says a couple of, like, dash, plash, goddarn, blankety heck, and I'm like, whoa.
Big Time, think of the kids. I did not hear that before. Mm-hmm. And so the kids, they quickly stack up again, and they lift up the boat off the pedestal, knowing that it'll set off the alarm.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that they call it a human ladder. What the fuck?
Humans don't exist. Whichever nephew said that, shut the fuck up. But
yeah, immediately the alarm goes off and Scrooge wakes up.
Yes. How they didn't set off any alarms before, who knows? And
only items have an alarm, I guess.
Not breaking in, not vandalism. Only if items are removed.
Yes.
But also, like, we learned, Scrooge has no security cameras even.
I just, like, do people not know that he has shit security so more people don't try to rob him? Yeah. 'Cause I would just walk in.
You can just walk in. If you run out quickly enough, no one will catch you.
Yeah.
Scrooge is his own security. Because we see he runs out of bed in his pajamas. They are, I think, reminiscent or the same as the pajamas he wears in Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Like the stocking cap and the long pajamas, like the dressing gown.
Yeah.
And he runs out of his room with the blunderbuss, yelling for Duckworth to get the limo.
Honestly, like, not seeing, like, I miss seeing Scrooge with the blunderbuss, because that's such a funny image.
So funny. And because he uses the blunderbuss consistently throughout the show. Like, they haven't cut it from Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know there's certain shots that it's cut when he uses it, because we don't see him use it, he just is carrying it around.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
but
back at the museum at the money bin.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing keep away with the ship. They're in a stack, and one of them gets taken. The next two keep running. One gets caught. They throw the ship to the other one.
Mm-hmm. Then the other one then finally Louie's the one that finally gets
Yeah.
caught with the ship.
And like the Beagle Boys are all just holding a kid.
Yeah.
Scrooge.
Huey's upside down.
Yeah. And so the Beagle Boys have the ship. Duckworth pulls up in the limo, does not get out. He's like, I'm not paid enough to be security. And Scrooge runs into the money bin in his pajamas, holding the blunderbuss. And he runs straight into Louis. Because we don't... How'd the kids get away?
I don't know. It like cuts weird.
It does cut weird, I guess. Yeah, because last we saw the Beagle Boys had them. I guess as the car pulled up, the Beagle Boys ran and dropped the kids.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who they're just random kids as far as they know, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow one of them got the map the Beagle Boys had, which isn't explained either. They just got it.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know the Beagle Boys mention the map, but we don't see them drop it, or we don't see any of the kids pick it up.
Yeah, we don't see like a compartment open from the ship. Like nothing happens.
No, the kids. The kids have gotten away, and they have a map now.
Animation error.
I don't know. And the kids are trying to tell him like, "Oh, the Beagle Boys were here. We stopped them." And Scrooge is like, Scrooge was not hearing any of it. He thinks they're lying.
Yeah. And so it cuts back to their attic room, and Scrooge is just scolding them so much for, running away from home, breaking and entering, and then lying about the Beagle Boys, even though they keep insisting, like, they were there.
Yeah, but Scrooge doesn't believe them because, like, the Beagle Boys broke in and didn't try to take any money? Sure. Mm-hmm. Which I guess does make sense. Since it wouldn't occur to them to steal, like the kids are insisting, the wooden ship that they were so interested in. Conveniently.
Yeah. And Scrooge is like, you guys were the only ones that wanted that. And Dewey has the map that you mentioned that we have no idea how they got it. But Scrooge does not care. He's had enough, and he has an important interview in the morning at his candy factory.
Yes. And so all the kids are still grounded, and he like dumps the Junior Woodchuck stuff in front of them. Mm-hmm. As he's storming out, and his parting words of being that like boarding school isn't looking so expensive now.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wow, Scrooge. But of course, the kids insist they're only trying to help, but Scrooge again isn't hearing a bar of it.
No. And we hear just like that dramatic door slam.
And like the whole screen, like the camera rattles.
Yeah.
And where is Dewey pulling all this shit from?
I don't know. Because I went back to see if there was like a scene where he picks something up. There isn't. They immediately get caught.
Yeah. Dewey suddenly also has a convenient flyer to the closed derelict theater the Beagle Boys have been hiding at. Because the Beagle Boys had that too for some reason.
Yeah, I don't
I do like this flyer. Who's carrying this?
Same.
I really like this flyer.
It's very like Art Deco-ish in the design. Yeah. I like it a lot.
It's like a duck ballerina. And the lady duck, her duck legs go up all the way.
Wow.
We have not been yet introduced to Gandra and her terrible human legs.
Mm-hmm. Bad. This is good design.
Yes.
Good lady duck design.
And the kids put two and two together and assume, because they know that this theater is condemned, they assume that this is where the Beagle Boys have been hiding.
And so their plan is to get the ship back and then prove to Uncle Scrooge that like they're correct, that they weren't trying to steal the ship.
And Louis puts, it's just fun, Louis puts the Junior Woodchuck cap on top of his hat, and so the green brim of his hat is sticking out underneath the coonskin cap. Because they're getting into the Junior Woodchuck stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're using the guidebook to make like a parasail? Glider.
Okay.
Hang glider.
Yeah, like a
hang glider.
hang
There we
glider,
go.
Yeah.
I got it. I got there eventually. Just using like the random junk that was up in the attic.
Mm-hmm. Because Duckworth is guarding the stairs, so they can't leave the house that way.
Just imagining Duckworth just like asleep at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, God. And yeah.
But the kids are cool with that because they have made a hang glider.
Yes,
cool.
hang glider. I was like, what did we just
what
call
did we just call it a minute ago? And so the kids are outside the window of the attic, like poised to jump, and they're kind of having second thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We get the shot of from above of the $ shaped pool, which I adore.
I love that. I think someone makes the comment that, like, what do woodchucks know about flying anyway?
But they jump, all three of them, on one hang glider. And I like they're using ski poles as the, like, handles. And you can tell that they're still ski poles that they've attached.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to land because they forgot to read that chapter. So they crash into the pool, right? Because the hang glider breaks.
Yes, it like immediately breaks.
Just falls apart.
Yeah. And then luckily they like land on like some like shade.
Yeah, like an awning.
Like
and they slide off of that into the pool.
Oh, shenanigans.
And it's still like dawn or something. Like it's the same night.
Yeah.
So they get to the theater and they're hiding among the seats and they're like they can see the stage.
And conveniently, you know, the Beagle Boys and El Capitan are talking about what they just did and the plans. Yeah, the kids get closer to them, right? Yeah.
And we see that El Capitan is, like, they're all sitting around a table. And El Capitan is like, all right, like, I freed you from prison. Now uphold your side of the bargain and give me the boat. Mm-hmm. But Big Time had all the brains because he's like, oh, yeah, hold on. Like what about this ship makes it so valuable? Like he wanted it over any of the money in the money bin. Yeah. So he wants to know what it is.
And El Capitan doesn't want to say what it is. So Big Time like lights a match on the table and goes to burn.
Yeah. The ship. I'm like, oh shit, Big Time. Okay. He's threatening to
bargaining.
Yeah, threatening to burn the ship. And El Capitan immediately caves.
And he tells them that it's a map, and the map leads to sunken treasure that is it's gold, full of oro, he says.
And that whatever messenger is in the ship is in code. Mm-hmm. And that only he can interpret it. So without him, it's worthless.
So Big Time, you know, wants to talk about a deal.
Yeah, when one of the kids drops... Because they managed to get up onto the stage, and there's still like old props and walls left up, and they just drop a huge fucking sandbag, so heavy it crushes the table that they're all standing around.
Oh my god!
And I think the force like throws the boat up in the air.
Yeah,
and
it throws
I
the
think
boat.
one of the kids catches it.
Dewey catches it, yeah, and then he like goes to run, and then the Beagle Boys and El Capitan go to chase after him.
Yeah. And the kids drop like a prop wall that is very sturdy. Yes. Which all the Beagle Boys run into. But then El Capitan stops them.
Yes.
Like, what is... He both has a chair to like push them back. A bottle, right?
That I think the implication is it should be like sharp. You know how they classically
he's gonna break
the bottle
and like point it at them. Yes.
Yeah. And he says he threatens them.
He says, "Give me the ship, or like you'll play castanets with their empty little heads." I'm like,
oh my god!
What is this threat? I love that it's like Spanish flavored, like. castanets. You know.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I also like this shot because, like, as he's threatening them, we get, like, closer to his, like, eyes, and then it goes to black.
Oh, I
like,
remember what
okay,
what that post he was doing reminded me of. It reminded me of, like, a lion tamer.
Yes, okay, yeah.
That's what it was.
Give me the ship, niños, or I'll play castanets with your empty little heads.
Yeah, way too threatening for kids. Like to do at kids. At least the bottle was intact, so it was slightly less menacing.
Exactly.
Yeah, we get this super close zoom on his eyes. Have we mentioned that he is like old as hell?
Oh no, we have
He's
not.
old as hell.
Because I think Big Time called him Grandpa.
Yes. Old as hell. His whole vibe is that he's very brittle.
Yes, like a nice breeze will just make him crumble.
Yes. So El Capitan is like coming at the kids and they just kind of slowly start backing up.
I would too, what the hell?
Yeah, like who is Jesus? Creepy old man. And I love because they can't have like I guess they can't have the Beagle Boys like they obviously can't have the kids like have any, you know, actual physical violence. So the Beagle Boys throw like a curtain, a curtain over the kids. I guess you just like scoop them up instead of just grabbing them like they did 10 minutes ago.
And as like they go to like grab them, like the little like bundle of where they were just kind of disappears.
Yeah, like a magic
and
trick.
The curtain flattens. Yeah. And they can't find
No,
the
they
kids.
yank off the curtain and Big Time immediately starts jumping like on the stage. And the Beagle Boys, Bouncer and Big Time are like, Bouncer and Big are like, what the hell are you doing? But he realized that they must have gone through a trapdoor. How many is this their second trapdoor?
Yeah.
There's gonna be more.
Yeah.
There's gonna be more. Yeah, so they find the trapdoor and all three of them fall onto like a pile of old mattresses.
And we see like the kids are, you know, away from them trying to open like these heavy like doors. And Huey asks Dewey like, how did you know that there was a trap door in that spot? And Dewey's like, I didn't.
Yeah. Like, oh shit, okay. And yeah, they manage to get these doors open and they run out of the theater.
Yeah. And
with the ship.
Capitan is very distressed.
Yeah. He yells a lot and he's kind of like gripping at himself.
Yeah,
like,
and he specifically says that he can't lose the ship again.
Yes. Yeah. And they run out and it's suddenly bright daylight.
Yes. And the kids are like on some stairs, like on the side of the building.
They've climbed up like the fire escape. And they're saying how they wish Scrooge was here because he's beaten the Beagle Boys before.
Yeah. And they realize that they have to like get to Scrooge, who's currently at his candy factory.
Yes. And so they're running on like the rooftops. And then so we go to Scrooge's Willy Wonka ass factory.
Yeah, like we immediately cut to this like it goes exterior shot, interior shot of this giant like vat of chocolate.
Yeah, and like giant like cartoonishly massive. This is like a 30-foot tall vat, not FDA approved.
No.
Thing of just liquid chocolate.
Yeah, Scrooge specifically says that like vat holds enough chocolate to make a candy bar that is the size of his mud bin. Like that's fucking
insane. It's just sitting here. Oh, we see very easily tipped over. He's being interviewed, and there's this nondescript reporter lady who's interviewing him.
Yeah.
The poor woman's Weber Walters. Who,
oh my god.
Do we see Weber Walters in the later episodes? I think so, right? She gets introduced?
Yeah. I don't know.
Or maybe it's not until Sins of the Clones that she's introduced. We'll see. I'm holding out hope for Weber Walters.
Although I will say, I do like this reporter's outfit. It's cute.
It's cute.
But she wants to know how Scrooge got so wealthy.
And we get the classic smarter than the smarties, tougher than the toughies line. As we cut back to Huey, Dewey, and Louie running from the Beagle Boys.
The boys, like, run into, like, a air vent? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So they jump in there, and the Beagle Boys can't really go in that way. At least one of them tries, but he gets stuck.
Yeah, they're too big.
Yeah.
And El Capitan is very slowly following them.
Mm-hmm.
He's an old man, and he can only go so fast.
And he's just mumbling about how they're gonna get away.
And so this reporter just following Scrooge around, like, the floor of this factory, and telling Scrooge how family must be so proud of you for all your accomplishments. Yeah. And he's like, my what? Sorry.
She's like, family, the people you love. And Scrooge, gets, flustered. He's like,
And this reporter continues, well, obviously, because money isn't everything.
Yeah. And, there has to be someone you spend some sort of time with.
And Scrooge just has, he just kind of breaks. He just, what even? He just admits his, innermost loneliness to this reporter.
Yeah. Yeah, he just says, he says, to tell you the truth, my life is pretty lonely. And I'm like, oh my god.
It's so sad. He's just, looking at the ground and, tapping his cane on the ground.
Well, Mr. McDuck, your family must be very proud of you.
My what?
Family. The people you love.
Well, I never really... that is, I...
Surely there must be someone you spend your time with. After all, money isn't everything.
Very busy, you see, and, well, no time for... To tell the truth, my life is pretty lonely.
I'm just thinking about how this reporter just absolutely demolished.
Yes. Well, it's on live television or whatever this is. This interview, he just fully admits that he's alone except for his nephews. And he's like, oh my god, yeah, my nephews, I totally forgot.
Yeah, he's they're grand lads, they're quick, feisty, they're just like me. He calls them change out of the same dollar. He gets really excited about that. And
as he's complimenting the kids and talking about them to the reporter, who I don't think we ever learn her name.
No.
Because she's not Barbara Walters, so it doesn't matter. We see the kids are trying to cross between the buildings on power lines, which dangerous.
Yes,
and
don't.
And Big Time just yanks the power line out of the end, out of the building. Yeah. And is just shaking the power line to make them fall.
Yeah, and it doesn't immediately yank them off. It's very cartoony that they follow the wave for a bit.
They bounce up and down. But then suddenly Big Time loses his grip. And the kids are swing on the end of the power line, and they fly in. They swing into the factory. Oh, they break through the ceiling. Yes. Oh my! They break through the glass.
Just as Scrooge is telling the reporter that he wishes they were here so she can meet them, they burst through the roof.
They break through the glass ceiling. I did not notice that. And they land. In some,
I don't know what that is.
It's yellow.
Yeah, it looks like cheese, but I don't think this candy factory has cheese.
They land in a vat of some yellow substance. And then the Beagle Boys follow them immediately, making another hole in the ceiling.
Yeah. And they land in, I'm guessing, gumballs or something.
Yeah, a vat of gumballs, just loose gumballs. And this vat is tipped over, and they're they're rolling on the gumballs that are just pelting down the path.
And another one of my favorite jokes is the reporter tells the cameraman, keep rolling, and the cameraman's like, they are.
Yeah.
Keep rolling.
They are.
Yeah, it was cute. And the kids who are just still covered in the yellow corn syrup. It's corn syrup.
Yeah.
They run up to Scrooge with the ship, which is miraculously clean of anything. And tell him, this is the ship the Beagle Boys were after. Here clearly are the Beagle Boys who have been chasing us.
Mm-hmm. And we do see like a cut of all the employees in the factory running out, I'm assuming. Yeah. But yeah, the kids are just covered head to toe.
Yeah. And Scrooge tries to usher them out too, but they insist that they want to help.
Yeah.
And basically, I mean, the next whole scene is, so there's like taffy in this candy factory, there's pies. I guess it could have been custard that they landed in then.
Yes, actually, yeah, it was custard.
And so they're basically like, Scrooge has the ship and he's getting the Beagle Boys to follow him. And the boys are using the various food, pastry items to attack the Beagle Boys. Oh, here's our third trapdoor. Bouncer gets the python in his face. He crashes into Burger. A trapdoor opens. Bouncer falls through, and then Burger smashes through the edges of the trapdoor.
Yeah, they break the trapdoor basically,
and they fall into the caramel tank. And we hear them yelp. Yeah, because it's hot caramel.
Hot caramel.
So they have been scalded and burned to death.
Oh my God. And so after that, they have one Beagle Boy left.
Big Time is left. And the reporter and her seagull cameraman are still here recording all of this. Because. But we see, like, Huey was waiting to sneak up on Big Time when Big Time sneaks up on him.
Yeah. And he immediately, was using him as ransom.
Yeah. Ransom for the other Beagle Boys.
Yeah.
And Scrooge quotes the episode title because they have a plan so that they don't lose to the Beagle Boys.
Don't give up the ship, boys.
Hey, that's the name of the show.
And so Scrooge plays that he's going to give them the ship. They're going to free the other Beagle Boys as long as Big Time doesn't hurt Huey.
And Big Time, tells the Beagle Boys, like, Scrooge is a softie after all.
And we see the Dewey and Louie let Bouncer and Big Burger go, and they're, like, half drenched in caramel.
Yeah. Oh, God. And so then Scrooge hands over the ship to Big Time.
And Big Time drops Huey. I love Scrooge takes him by the hand and is leading him away.
Yeah.
And Huey goes to apologize, like, for making him lose the ship. I love Scrooge. He's like, never mind, just walk faster.
Yeah.
Because...
Don't worry about it.
Because the Beagle Boys are standing in front of that Willy Wonka-ass vat of chocolate.
Of hot chocolate, because there's, like, steam
hot,
coming
molten
out.
chocolate. And so Scrooge and the boys roll up on a platform. Out of danger, and he has Dewey and Louie operate this complicated machinery to pour this vat of molten chocolate directly onto the Beagle Boys.
And it creates like waves.
Yeah,
like
it rushes
waves.
out them like that fucking like blood river in The Shining. Like it just pours out at them. And
cinematic parallels.
Yes. This is where The Shining got it from.
Yeah. Didn't you know that?
And we get this brief exterior shot of like the chocolate pouring out of the windows and doors, and it actually looks pretty good. Like it looks like hot fudge, like pouring out, which is nice. And the Beagle Boys get trapped in the chocolate instead of immediately suffering third-degree burns. Dennis gets sealed in it.
Yeah. It has to be like hot fudge that it kind of like dries like hard. Yeah.
And this reporter lady just here, just reporting that Scrooge has trapped the Beagle Boys. Yeah,
like this incredible like adventurous interview it was brought to you live by the station. I'm like, I love that there's no station name.
Like you couldn't.
So generic.
Yeah, you couldn't even come up with a fake station name. No. Come on, DuckTales writers were slacking. They already got all the funny jokes in. They couldn't bother to come up with a name for the station. Yeah, so Scrooge has just ruined his candy factory in this process.
Yeah,
it's like the was it in Boston, the molasses flood?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Right, that you can still, like, on especially hot days, you can still smell the molasses that killed, like, 8 people when it flooded the streets in, like, 1900-something. This is like that. Except it's chocolate.
I thought you were going to mention something else, actually.
What?
That's more funny.
What?
You know that scene in Shrek, the second Shrek movie?
I was literally thinking about the fairy godmother's factory where they tip over the magic potion in a big vat of it.
Yeah.
And, yes. I was also thinking of that scene.
Yeah. And then like every like employee is like a different creature now because
the swans that turn into ballerinas.
Yeah.
The minions that turn into Lumiere and Cogsworth.
Love that scene. Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
I was thinking of that in a moment as well.
Nice. And so then Scrooge goes up to pick up the ship that didn't immediately sink and get lost forever in this chocolate.
Somehow. It was lying very conveniently on the surface, and he plucks it out of the chocolate, and we see it leaves like a mold in the chocolate, which will be important next episode.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks it up out of the chocolate, and he apologizes to Huey, Dewey, and Louie for not trusting them.
Yeah. And the kids immediately are like, forgive him. They're like, it's okay, Uncle Scrooge.
And Scrooge is like, no, you deserve a reward. How about I move you from the attic to the garage? And they all laugh.
Jokes.
And the most terribly designed duck on the show, Junior Woodchuck General Man, runs in because he watched the whole ordeal on television 2 minutes ago and is giving the boys 1 million merit badges.
Yeah, like he says that no woodchuck has ever like earned that many yet, like in such a short time.
It's like citizenship. He's throwing them at the kids.
Urban survival, he says.
Like you didn't see them crossing rooftops. How do you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because he says like circus acts is one of them.
Law enforcement is one. I'm like, I don't think that's a badge you can give to someone. I think what you're talking about is vigilantism.
Exactly.
Junior Woodchuck Man.
Oh god.
And we do see the cops taking the cold, hard corpses of the Beagle Boys out the door. They're carrying them out with smiles on their faces.
They're gonna eat that chocolate. Duh.
Yes.
Yeah, so then the recruiter is like, you know, what badge are you guys gonna get next, kids? And I think it's Louis is like, how about we do the treasure hunting badge, Uncle Scrooge?
And he's down. So this is like the start of the whole adventuring that they're going to be doing. Because I guess we'll see more in the next episode, but I get the feeling that Scrooge didn't go on adventures prior to this.
Yeah. I feel like he's more like money focused in this version.
Yeah.
Than he gets adventuring. Yeah. And they all give him a big hug, and it's very cute.
First he says to give him 4.
Yeah.
Because they have 4 fingers.
Yes.
So that was fun. So they high five and they hug. So that was sweet. Mm-hmm. And then El Capitan has to be a creep and watch them from the shadows.
So he's very threateningly saying that, you know, that McDuck hasn't won the treasure yet. Yes. To beware.
Yeah. To be continued.
You haven't won the treasure yet, McDuck. Beware.
How he concludes. So our ongoing threat is El Capitan and whatever he has planned.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah. What'd you think?
That was fun.
Fun.
I liked it. Like, I don't know. It's very, like, even though I didn't watch the show as a kid like you did, it's still nostalgic to me. Like, it feels very nostalgic.
Yeah, 100%.
And just watching it, I'm like... I'm glad the kids and Scrooge are friends now.
Yeah, we have Scrooge. We'll see how long it lasts, but he has learned the importance of family. Let's see if he has to learn it again next episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this
How
was
about you?
this was a lot of fun to revisit. I haven't watched original DuckTales in a bit, and I didn't realize how much I missed Alan Young's Scrooge.
Same.
Yeah, because
Same.
I mean, obviously David Tennant has done a fantastic job as Scrooge, but Alan Young is kind of the quintessential Scrooge. Like whenever I read the comics, I think I imagine Alan Young's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Alan Young did the voice of Scrooge from 1974 to 2016.
Wow.
The first time Alan Young voiced Scrooge in anything was in the Disneyland record album, an adaptation of Dickens' Christmas Carol, performed by the Walt Disney Players, for which Young also wrote the script. It was...
Oh, wow.
So there was... That album marked the first time Alan Young ever voiced Scrooge. Mm-hmm. And then he would go on to voice him, I think, famously in Mickey's Christmas Carol. And that kind of set the stage for him voicing Scrooge in DuckTales.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan Young is actually Scottish, which I didn't know.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, Alan Young was the first actor to voice Scrooge with a genuine Scottish accent. He was born to Scottish parents and raised in the Scottish capital of Edinburgh after his family moved there when he was a toddler. Prior to DuckTales and after, Alan Young also voiced Hiram Flaversham in The Great Mouse Detective, Dr. Cooper in the Tailspin episode The Old Man and the Sea Duck, and his only ever live-action role for Disney was Dr. Winger in The Cat from Outer Space.
Oh, I've never seen
No
that.
idea. And I know he was, famously prior to this was, I think, Mr. Ed, the talking horse.
Yes. Yeah.
In an old show from the 60s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun revisiting the show. And obviously we're going to be continuing at former episodes. We'll be introduced to Webby, Launchpad, Mrs. Beakley, I guess.
Of course.
Gyro.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about these episodes in one way over another, throughout the years, but it's it's different, but also the same to talk about them again. Yeah. It's nice to return to DuckTales.
Yeah, always, yeah. DuckTales is always very comforting, I think, to go back to. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, probably should have mentioned it at the start, but definitely watch the episode, probably either before or after you listen to this, because if you watch along, it's going to take ages to not stop talking. But no, this is a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Same.
So, stay tuned. We'll be obviously finishing DuckTales, and then from DuckTales, we'll be moving on to Rescue Rangers, if my math is correct. So, we'll be going in chronological order of release.
Mm-hmm.
Thank Michael at Spintrick for our lovely new cover art for our new show, the next segue arc of our show. Sure.
Phase,
there we go. It's like copy Marvel.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much.
I love it so much. You can find us on Twitter at Amores Patos. That's where we post almost all of our news. We retweet fan art and fun videos and all that kind of stuff. And you also find links to our merch store in the show notes and also via our Twitter.
You can also find us and send us comments.
If you want to continue sending in questions, please go ahead. We will happily read them. We'll see whether or not we ask for them, make posts specifically asking, but definitely send them if you would like.
Yeah, and you can send those to our Tumblr at Amorespatos, podcast.tumblr.com, or to our Gmail, amorespatospodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. And, thank you for listening. Saludos, amigos.
Saludos, amigos.